When it comes to being the mouthpiece of the PGA, very few golfers can compete with Northern Irishman Rory Mcilroy. After the PGA Tour announced smaller fields and no-cut events coming in 2024, there's been a chain reaction of opinions from all sides of the divide. As a result, McIlroy's been on attack mode, ready to strike anyone that threatens his precious tour. American pro golfer James Hahn is the latest to suffer from McIlroy's temperament after he skipped the PGA Tour players meeting. In this video, we'll be going over James Hahn's comments on the PGA's new events and McIlroy's outbursts. If you do end up enjoying today's video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. It's no secret that the PGA Tour has been on the ropes ever since LIV came into the scene. The new changes to the circuit is just one of the many ways the tour hopes to push back LIV into obscurity. The limited field, no-cut events have ruffled some feathers on both sides of the divide, and we're all still waiting to see if it works out as planned. As expected, the 33-year-old majors winner has been quick to defend the action by the Premier Golf Tour. McIlroy wants everyone to believe that the new changes are designed to provide premium tournaments and improve the quality of field events. Even though LIV golfers have come out to voice their opinions on the PGA's decision, most golfers from the PGA have been economical with their words. But James Hahn isn't one of them. The Wells Fargo Championship winner did not hold back his opinions during an interview with Golf Week. Hahn was quoted saying, I hate them. I'm just going to say exactly what 99.99% of fans said about players leaving for the LIV Tour. If our players just said, we're doing this for the money, I would have a lot more respect for them. But how they're covering up what they're doing and trying to make it a thing about sponsors and fans and saving opposite field events, I think that's all BS. All the big names that are talking about this new product, if you just came out and said, hey, we're doing this for the money, they want more guaranteed money, and this is another way to funnel more money to the top players in the world, I'd have a lot more respect for them. Right now, they're just covering their ass and saying everything that the PGA Tour basically has trained them to say, has taught them to say, and trying to make it not about money when everyone knows 100% it's about more guaranteed money being funneled to the top players in the world. We've been talking about money for the last 2 years, and for them not to say that that's not the #1 reason why they're making these changes, it's very, very hypocritical. This isn't the first time James Hahn has been critical of the PGA. Last year, he was one of the few players to vote against the measures taken by the PGA to combat the Saudi-backed series LIV Golf. According to Hahn, these measures just end up paying the top golfers more guaranteed money, which has increased exponentially. We also can't forget the time he criticized the PGA's new schedule and even going as far as claiming that it contributed to players dumping the tour for LIV. They've created these elevated events where it significantly impacts other full field events sandwiched in between full field events. The solution to their problem is to limit the number of players that get into the elevated events to force the other players to play in other full field, non-elevated events. To me, it's a road that we have to be very careful on, because going back to our mission and our purpose is to be able to create the best playing opportunities for our membership and to be able to contribute and donate back to the communities and the charities that we play in. After the news of the PGA's new events became public, the tour held a player meeting in the build-up to the Players' Championship, and James Hahn was missing from the roster. By snubbing the players' meeting, Hahn put a target on his back, and Rory McIlroy has taken the first shot. The world #3 couldn't keep his disappointment to himself, and he let the fans know what he thought of James Hahn on Twitter. He said, you say all this crap and you're not even in the meeting. If you want to get informed and be a part of the process, the fact that he wasn't even in the room was a slap in the face to everyone there. Despite being enraged by Hahn's actions, McIlroy took the time to speak to the press after the players' meeting. And this is what he had to say. I think when more information and data was presented to them, the people that maybe had reservations about it, I think came around, or at least were more informed on their opinions. Right, I think the temperature in the room was nowhere near as hot as I anticipated it to be once the information was sort of laid out. From McIlroy's statements, it's very clear that he supports the PGA's decisions, but the same can be said for other players and the tour. One may think that the players' meeting was enough to put to bed all of the fears about the new changes, but reports show that not all players approved of these changes. Immediately after the players' meeting, McIlroy was asked if the tour was unified following the new directives, and his answer shouldn't shock anyone. McIlroy revealed that despite the PGA's best efforts, some players aren't too happy about the new changes. While most players weren't ready to give their opinion on the matter, PGA Tour veterans Ryan Armour and Kevin Streelman couldn't wait to speak to the press about the issue. Ryan Armour, in particular, was most critical. "I think what bothers me the most about this is that we all were in the same meeting in San Diego, and there were serious concerns about going forward with this. We talked about the value of full fields, what it means for hospitality, for fans who want to watch golf all day, what the tour experience is all about. And then they went forward with it. If this was such a great idea, we should have done it 20 years ago when Tiger was winning everything. These guys aren't Tiger Woods. None of them are. The current hierarchy on the tour, what makes this generation of 20 and 30-year-olds so special to benefit the most from this?" On the other hand, Streelman took things a little better, even though he voiced his concerns as a player who wants to win. "The depth out here is astronomically higher than it's ever been before. I firmly believe 120 people in this field could win this week. I've been in 8 or 9 BMW championships in 15 years, 2 tour championships, and it always comes down to a shot or two throughout the whole year. There's literally no difference in the caliber of player who's 51 or 49 on the points list. But one guy's entire year is set. So that's the frustrating part from our side. Putting aside the PGA's internal struggles, McIlroy is preparing another assault on the top of the leaderboard following his joint runner-up finish in his last tournament at Bay Hill. And he explained to the media beforehand that he's hoping he'll be able to concentrate more on his game from now on. He said, "Hopefully the majority of my time will be spent on concentrating on getting ready for golf tournaments and trying to be the best player that I can be. Not that I feel like it's taken away any of that, but it might give me a bit more free time to do other things that I enjoy as well." Given McIlroy's influence on the tour, it sounds as though he may need to dedicate at least some of his time this week to convincing certain players that the controversial move will benefit the PGA Tour and its grand scheme in the long run. McIlroy is known for his signature outbursts when things don't go his way, and his reaction to James Hahn missing the PGA Players meeting doesn't come as a shock to some. McIlroy feels that players need to educate themselves on the move before airing their opinions. Nonetheless, he shouldn't expect everyone to be enthusiastic about the PGA's new vision after everything the tour has said about LIV. Do you guys think James Hahn might be onto something, or are McIlroy's callouts justified? Let us know in the comments below.